Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of All Things Universal Orlando. Today, we're going to be looking at the top 5 attractions at Islands of Adventure. Hey everybody, thanks again for watching. Before we get started, I just want to take a second to thank all of you guys who have been subscribing. The page is growing pretty quickly and I'm pretty happy about that. Encourage you to keep sending your feedbacks, keep offering your ideas. I've taken a few of those and made a couple of videos based on your suggestions, and I'd like to continue doing that. But before we even get started with this, I want to remind you to like and subscribe, hit the bell notification so you can be made aware every time we present a new video. So today, I want to look at the top 5 attractions on the Islands of Adventure side of things. I haven't done much on the Islands of Adventure side of things, and that's because we just went in September, and as you guys know, I only get to go once or twice a year, and we go for long stretches of time, but I hadn't ridden the new Hagrid, the Magical Creatures roller coaster, and I wanted to ride that before I presented a top 5 list and see where I would put it on this ranking. Now, this is not all about that ride, although it is on this countdown somewhere. But it was just something I wanted to wait to do before I created anything on Islands. It also gave me some opportunities to get some more footage and things like that to put on the green screen behind me. But I'm not going to waste much time here. I'm just going to go into the top 5 attractions, in my opinion, that you can find at Islands of Adventure. So let's get right to it.
Great Scott, number 5.
Number 5. Skull Island Reign of Kong. I gotta tell you, I was really looking forward to this attraction opening. Back in the day when I lived in Florida and had season passes, I was a huge fan of Kongfrontation, which sits where the Mummy now currently rides. That was one of my favorite attractions there. I just thought that the theming was great, the queue was great. I liked everything about that ride. It really gave you a sense or a feeling that you were in New York City being attacked by a huge gorilla. That being said, there were some drawbacks. I mean, the animatronics were not what they are today. The technology isn't where it is today, and you did have to use your imagination on some level, but I was okay with that. I thought, all in all, Kongfrontation was a great ride, so when I heard this was coming back, I was pretty excited. I remember watching the movie, the new movie, the Skull Island movie, and I thought it was good, and I thought, man, there's so many things that could happen here. I really am anticipating what this ride is going to look like. And that's why it comes in at number 5. I think it's a great attraction. Really, really good, in fact. It opened the 13th of July in 2016. It was manufactured by Oceaneering International. Every time I tell you who manufactures a ride, please understand that for the most part, the theming is done by Universal and their people on staff. It has a 72-seat capacity expedition vehicle, and the duration of the ride is about 6 minutes. The ride in and of itself is pretty cool. I mean, it's the same concept of Fast and the Furious, where you're in this cart and you have 3D screens on both sides of you. And that's one of the things I like about it, is you kind of have a different ride depending on which way you look. It does interactive, like you get sprayed with water and things like that, and you shake to give the illusion of moving, but the car does actually move as well. Then you get to the end, and it's just amazing, this huge, enormous animatronic of Kong. It's just enormous. It's loud. The subwoofer level that they use, the decibel level, must be insane in there, because when he growls, you feel it, and there's just something amazing about this ride and just the overall feeling you get when you're in it. It's exciting. You definitely feel the intensity of Kong fighting with the Tyrannosaurus Rex or whatever dinosaurs he happens to be encountering, all the new creatures that are there. It's just a pretty good ride, all in all. You know, this is not a queue countdown, but I would say that this is one of the most amazing queues ever. The animatronic of the witch doctor, whatever she is, lady that's there. It's just an amazing queue as well, and that adds to the ride. But the ride of itself is what I want to focus on, and this is just an amazing ride. I never miss it. I go multiple times. It does always have a pretty long wait, but you guys know me. As I go, I stay and I get the express pass, and I go through the express pass line. The downside to that is you miss out on the queue, and I actually have waited in line just for the queue experience. But the ride is good, so those are the reasons that Skull Island Reign of Kong comes in at number 5.
Number 4! Boop 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 boop.
Now, a lot of you guys are probably going to disagree with this one, But for me, number 4 is the Incredible Hulk coaster. Probably a lot of you have this much higher. In fact, many of you may even have this at number 1, but there's a reason I don't. I love roller coasters, and this is an exceptional roller coaster. Probably my favorite roller coaster, certainly in the top 2 or 3 that I've ever been on. Opening date was May 28th in 1999, and that was the original track. But then you guys will remember that in 2016, 15 and 16, it went through a remodel and got a new track, and that one opened up on August 4th of 2016. At its height, it's 110 feet. It has a 105-foot drop, 3,700 feet in length, reaches a top speed of 67 miles per hour, 7 inversions, which to me is amazing. In fact, right off the bat, when it shoots you out, and we'll get to some of that here, it's manufactured by Werner Stengel, Bolliger, and Mabillard. Again, Universal Creative. It runs 1,920 riders per hour with a duration of 2 minutes and 15 seconds. This is an amazing roller coaster. The theming is great. The color scheme is great. The queue's pretty good considering it's really just the line, but everything around you with the theming of the Incredible Hulk that Marvel had created in their comic books, they've brought into the queue as well. The ride is so fast that the theming of a roller coaster almost doesn't matter on this roller coaster. But what I love about this is probably the same thing the rest of you love about it, is when you are shot out of that tunnel, frankly, there's nothing like that. I've never found a launch that captures that. Not Rock and Roller Coaster over at Hollywood Studios, not Rip Ride Rocket, which doesn't have a launch, not even the launches in the Hagrid coaster capture what this one does. And when the new theming came into place with the roar of the Hulk, which you can hear all the way around the park, you don't really hear it when you're on the ride because it's so intense. But the queue moves quickly, and I like the option of being able to wait to be in the front row. And there's just so many things to like about this coaster. It is so fast, and the 7 inversions, I remember the first time my daughter rode it when she was pretty young, and she's kind of crazy like that. We had gone upside down and inverted probably 2 or 3 times, and she leans over in the middle of the ride and says, "Have we gone upside down yet?" I mean, that's how intense and how fast this roller coaster feels. I know it's not the fastest roller coaster ever made, but it feels that way to me. I absolutely love this roller coaster, and that's one of the primary reasons it's on this list. At a different time, it might be higher on this list, but right now it's at number 4. The new theming is great, although I have to say I actually liked the old track better. I'm one of those few people who felt that it was a smoother ride with the original track. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just old, but I liked the first one better. But that doesn't take away from this one. This is still a great track and a great roller coaster. And even if it was the old roller coaster that hadn't changed, I still think I would find this one coming in at number 4.
3.5. Wait, 3 or 3.5?
Number 3, for the longest time, this was my favorite ride, and probably many of you have this as your favorite ride. I grew up with Marvel, and I grew up a Spider-Man fan, so it makes sense to me that The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man is the number 3 attraction on my list in the top 5 here at Islands. I love everything about this ride. This was one of those things that I greatly anticipated the first time I went to this park and got on the ride. Now, granted, I was younger, but what an amazing adventure. This was a game-changing ride. There had never been anything like this, and it had won so many awards, and we'll talk about a little bit of that. This is an amazing ride, and it's won so many awards. Frankly, until Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey came out, this won multiple consecutive awards for best ride in any theme park, and it was a game-changing design. The way the cart would spin, giving you the illusion of rising and falling like nothing else had ever done before. Its opening date was May 28th of 1999. I couldn't find information on how much this ride cost, so if some of you have that information, I'd appreciate you putting that in the comments. Manufactured by Oceaneering International. The special effects on this attraction are amazing. It's interactive, it's 3D cartoon. You feel like you're involved in this cartoon. There's interactive things like when the hobgoblin throws the pumpkin bomb that is in the cartoon screen that hits the bridge cover and then explodes on the other side. There's just something amazing about this. When Spider-Man jumps and lands on your car right at the beginning and you feel it shake. When Electro electrocutes the car and you feel the vibration. When you shot up to the top of the skyscrapers and then fall. Everything about this ride is realistic, all things considered. Also a great queue. Here's what it has. It features a 13 30-foot tall projection screens, 12 of which use 3D projection. It is an amazing ride. The queue is also spectacular. You feel like you're in a comic book. There's nothing about this ride that I don't like. Really not one thing. I don't think they need to change it. They updated it a few years ago and it's still pretty much the same ride. The primary difference I saw was that they made Dr. Octopus maybe a little more modern as opposed to the original way he looked in the comics, but I don't care about that. The ride's amazing. For the longest time, this was my favorite ride, and that's why it comes in at number 3.
Number 2!
Number 2, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Much like Spider-Man, when I first got on this ride, I was blown away at what I was experiencing. Again, state of the art. There'd never been anything like this. Its opening day was June 18th of 2010. Cost about $256 million to fabricate this, manufactured by Dynamic Structures, Robo Coaster Limited, Cuckoo, and Universal Orlando. It has a ride time of 4 minutes and 6 seconds. It has won awards for Best Dark Ride category for 5 consecutive years, from 2011 to 2015, which says a lot. If you're a Harry Potter fan, there's nothing like this. There's nothing like this. It's like being there. It's like being in the movie. It's like being friends with the school, with having schoolmates at Hogwarts. That's really what this ride is like. You get in this car, which is unique, or this cart, whatever the ride vehicle. You're strapped in, and from the moment the ride starts, you're just enchanted and whisked away into a wizarding world that is magical. The projection screens are fantastic. There's nothing about this ride that I don't like. I've heard some people complain it makes them nauseous. I'm not one of those people. It integrates video, film. It integrates sets. It integrates spray, scent. Everything about this screams great ride. If you're a Harry Potter fan, it's not to be missed. And as far as queues go, I don't know what's better than this. You literally walk through the castle at Hogwarts, and if you're a fan of the book, or maybe more so a fan of the movie, it's like being transported there. The outside of this ride, being the Hogwarts castle, is visually stunning. I don't know of anything like this, frankly, when it comes to that. From the standpoint of visual satisfaction, there is nothing like this. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I like Harry Potter, but I'm not like a Harry Potter junkie or anything like that. The ride makes me enjoy Harry Potter more. I don't know how to explain how great this is other than to say that the ride makes the film better. For me, that's amazing. And those are the reasons Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey come in at number 2. Before we get to the number 1, I have a couple of honorable mentions for you. There's a lot of rides at Islands of Adventure, and frankly, I like every one of them. There's not one I don't enjoy going on. Maybe Poseidon's Fury, and maybe not to call that a ride as much as an attraction, but I even like that. When we go as a family to Universal Orlando, we almost always hit Islands of Adventure first. And I don't think it's because it's the closest one to the entrance where we come from Royal Pacific. I just think we like it a little better because we think the attractions are a little better. We walk in, usually we go to the right, Cat in the Hat, Carousel, we do all of these things. We work our way around and we just have a great time. There's not one ride in this park, one attraction in this park that I'm like, I'm okay if I miss it. I really want to do all of them. Even Storm Force, from the standpoint of a spinning teacup ride, is pretty good. So that being said, here are a couple of honorable mentions that I think are maybe just a slight bit better than some of the standards. One is Jurassic Park River Adventure. I enjoy this ride. It's a little dated for me, and I kind of wish they would update it like they did over in Hollywood and make it more of a Jurassic World and bring it into a little more modern feel. The dinosaur animatronics are older and dated, but still pretty cool and pretty impressive. It opened on May 28th, 1999, manufactured by Vekoma. The drop is 85 feet. It runs 7 minutes and 19 seconds and can handle 3,000 riders in an hour. It's a great ride. I don't like that you can't wear a hat on it because I always wear a hat. I'd rather take the chance of losing my hat, but I know we don't want to hit anybody with the hat, so I take my hat off just like everybody. But I don't like that because when you go in the summer, it's hot and the sun's in your face, and I find I'm like this on the ride a lot, and I don't like that. And then the element of fear when you get to the top of the lift and then coming down just before the dinosaur gets you is a pretty thrilling experience. And It's just a great ride, Jurassic Park River Adventure, and that's why it's part of the honorable mention. My second honorable mention is, man, one of my favorite things to do here is Dr. Doom's Fearfall. My daughter and I love this ride. My wife won't go anywhere near it, but we love it. There's just something terrifying about being in the open and shot up as fast as you are, as high as you are. It's thrilling and terrifying, and if it was longer and maybe a little different theming, something a little different about it, might be higher on the list, might make the top 5, but its opening date was also May 28th of 99, manufactured by S&S Power, height 185 feet, and the launch starts you at 40 miles per hour, but when you're in the open like that, that feels like 110. It's a truly spectacular and thrilling ride. When you get in there and the element of not knowing when you're going to be thrust up, it has this illusion when you look up and see it that you're on a drop ride. It's really not a drop ride, it's a launch ride. And I love it. It's fantastic and I never miss it. And that's why Dr. Doom's Fearfall is the second honorable mention. So before we get to the number 1, let's recap the top 5 so far. Number 5, Skull Island, Reign of Kong. I've given you the reasons. I like Kongfrontation so much that I really needed this to come back, and I'm glad it did in this form. Number 4, The Incredible Hulk roller coaster. I realize many of you probably have this higher, but for me, that's where this one falls. Number 3, The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. For a long time, my favorite ride. I'm a Spider-Man guy. He's my favorite superhero that there is, so I hit this multiple times every time I'm in the park, and it never disappoints. Number 2, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. I've talked to you about why that's such a great ride. I've talked to you about how it's a game-changing kind of ride, the awards that it's won. There's no need to go over this more. This is just an amazing ride, and that's why it's number 2. So here it is.
Oh, number 1!
Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. To me, hands down, probably the single most enjoyable, fun attraction I've ever been on. Everything about it is great. I don't have anything negative to say outside of I'd like to have seen them done maybe a little more with the queue. But that's not the ride. Has long wait times, it seems to break down a lot, but they also seem to be repairing and fixing some of those things, and it's not as bad. Now that the ride's had a little bit of shelf time, the lines are slowly getting better, and the breakdowns are far more infrequent. $300 million for this ride, and Universal didn't disappoint. They promised us that it would be the most highly themed roller coaster that had ever been made, and they were right. Manufactured by Intamin, who's manufactured a number of rides for Universal Studios. Its highest point is 65 feet. Biggest drop is 17 feet, but it's not that kind of a roller coaster. Has a length of over 5,000 feet, runtime of 2 minutes and 55 seconds. It replaced Dragon Challenge, and this was a sore spot for some people. Not me. I wasn't a huge fan of Dragon Challenge. I liked it, but I didn't think it was anything spectacular. I thought there were better roller coasters that had you hanging down. Even better in Florida. Busch Gardens had better roller coasters that offered the same kind of features as Dragon Challenge. Like I said, I liked it, but I didn't think it was anything special. So when it went away, I was kind of excited. The theming of this ride is frankly amazing. Everything that it offers you is amazing. The feeling of being out in the open and the option of riding on the motorcycle side or in the sidecar. I think, like most people, I like the motorcycle side better, but they're both great. The sheer openness of this and the speed and the tight turns, it makes an inversion or a drop really unnecessary for those things that people look for in roller coasters. It's just fun, super fun. All of the animatronics are amazing, and there's so many of them. The Hagrid animatronic is spectacular. It's larger than life, and it's amazing. And then, of course, there's the drop, which kind of happens, and you're not expecting that in this kind of capacity, but boy, is it fun. I don't know how else to say it. It's just the funnest thing I've ever done in a theme park. I enjoyed it so much. We were there for 9 days, and I got to ride it 3 or 4 times. And the best way we did that is to get there about a half hour before rope drop there at Islands, walk straight back there, and we wound up waiting less than 30 minutes each time. So that's how I would do it now until the ride has a little more shelf time and starts to lose its popularity as the newest attraction there. Well, everybody, thanks for watching. Again, let me remind you to like and subscribe, hit the bell notification so you can be made aware every time we have a video. Hey, go bless somebody else today.